each proposal story is different and unique. Unique New York. Which is what makes them so special.
Just like you.
But yeah, just like me. But to plan the perfect proposal does take a little bit of extra planning.
After an opening like that, how can you not be excited for this episode?
Oh my.
Bring your own personal sound effects with you?
Yeah, well, we're on a budget here, so we've got to add in our own
sound effects.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can make any other sound effects. I feel like that's it.
No, I feel like I could do like a studio audience clapping, maybe.
All right, well, we'll keep that in mind for next time.
Well, you tee me up when you want the audience clapping, and I'll see what I can put together.
Excellent.
Interesting. Okay, so.
So what are we talking about? Does anybody know at this point?
My guess is weddings.
It feels like a good guess.
It could be weddings, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
So much like me, who is different and unique, each proposal story is as well.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm sure that was grammatically incorrect. You and Lauren are going to be like, Ryan, what is he saying? What is he doing?
Why is he always going off script?
He's so weird. It's so uncomfortable. Engaged couples aren't going to want to listen to this.
What?
So, when you're planning your proposal, this is something that...
if you weren't sure from that opening, that is in fact what we were going to be talking about.
Yes,
today.
we'll be talking about proposals for marriage, not for like catering.
Excellent.
So this is obviously something that it does take a lot of planning.
Yeah.
You want it to be special.
You do.
And you at this point you've bought the ring. You want to do something meaningful.
Go back and listen to our last episode.
Go back and listen to the last episode.
That's right. All about buying the ring.
All about buying the ring.
So which one comes first, buying the ring or planning the proposal?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or they go hand in hand, really?
They go hand in hand.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where I was on that.
Yeah. I guess maybe you start with the ring, and then once you have something in mind, then you start planning the proposal, maybe?
Yeah.
It probably depends. It depends on what you're planning for the perfect proposal, which we're going to help you with today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that is, I would say you're doing it about simultaneously.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, because once you make the decision, you're like, okay, let's get on it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just Ryan.
I feel like that's a common thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. Like, you've made this like big life decision, and now you're like holding the secret
and you
from
can't
like
share it.
Your best friend. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
It's kind of intense.
Yeah, that's like an intense secret. Like, even with wedding planning, like it's not like, you guys are planning it together. So even if you have like maybe like a surprise or something at the wedding, it's usually like from everybody else, not from the two of you.
Right.
So it's like a lot of pressure on the beginning part.
It's a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
I think I kept it for like 30 days, something like that. It was a long time.
I feel like that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we're going to first start off with the win. So how do I know it's the right time?
To plan your wedding? I mean, your proposal?
No. How do you know it's the right time to propose? I think is the question.
Oh, I got you.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's a personal thing. It's like you guys have to have talked about it, like know that you're on the same page in your future, and you guys are ready and financially stable and excited to plan a wedding, really, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, you need to.
How do you decide? I don't know. I was just like kind of like, I'm ready.
Right. Because you're Samie.
Because I'm me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think you just have to, I think you have to have had conversations around it though, like, and make sure that you guys are on the same page about like the big decisions and like your future, and
right.
Making sure that your futures are aligned. And
yeah, you need to want the same things, because now you're going to become this one unit, and you want to make sure that your life goals are aligned. So
yeah.
Like, what does it look like when you're 30, 40, 50, 60 and plus? Like, you need to be thinking about those things. And it's obviously going to change as you go and evolve. No one really knows what's going to happen, but you need to make sure you guys are on the same page and have that, those things are aligned. Because if one of you is like, I want to move back to the suburbs and, and then raise 8 kids, and the other one's like, I want to travel the world and just be a nomad, that's going to be a little bit of conflict.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to find a middle ground maybe
it's
on that
going to be,
part.
right,
Yeah.
right. Just buy an Airstream and just kind of cruise.
Yeah. It could be a good middle ground.
Yeah.
Park it in the suburbs.
Exactly.
All
exactly. Right. Next to Best Buy. So what's the best time of year to propose?
Well, holidays are probably the most common time. So like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's are like, Thanksgiving to New Year's is like proposal engagement season. But I think a lot of people do it around trips and vacations. I also think it's like, if you guys have talked about wanting to get married in the fall, then, you know, you want to make sure you give yourself enough time. Or like, if you're like, we want to get married in 2021, you know, you don't want to like wait until the end of 2020 to propose. So like, you have to think about the timing of like when you want to be married also. And like, if you're like in school or graduating or anything like that, like, I feel like that happens a lot where people are like either in college or master's programs. You might want to wait until those kinds of things are finished. So
right.
It kind of depends on like where you are in life as well, and like when you're wanting to get married. Because most people plan an engagement. I would say like average is like anywhere from like 8 to 15 months is average.
Yep.
So you can do shorter engagements or longer engagements, but those are just things to think about.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, why do you think it's around the holidays more than any other time of the year? Because once you've made the decision to propose, it's not necessarily aligned with, it's October. Huh.
That's true. I think it's because families are together, and a lot of
that
people
was my guess too.
A lot of people want to involve families.
Yep.
So it's an easy way to involve families without like a lot of like suspicion around, like, especially if you're trying to do like a surprise proposal.
Yep.
It's easy to be like, oh, we're getting all the families together for Thanksgiving. Oh, everybody's here. I can propose now.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the big reasons. And I think that a lot of people will say like, so like this year, like, oh, I want to get married in 2020. So I want to go ahead and, you know, towards the end of the year, get engaged and then have almost a year to plan. I think that, I don't know. That's no scientific research behind that.
Yeah,
that's just my
feel.
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did it in October, and it was around family being in town, and that was important.
And
so
you
that's
also knew that I wanted like a fallish wedding.
True.
So
true.
That had a big impact on it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when is the best time? Like when you're going to do it? Let's say hypothetically it's over the holidays.
Well, I would say like earlier. So like if you have everybody getting together for like the holidays, then you probably want to do it, you know, maybe everybody gets in Wednesday. You want to do it earlier in the week rather than later. So that way you have time to like celebrate, and like, or same thing could be said the day that you propose earlier in the day. So you guys have time to celebrate all day.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think a good thing. 'Cause like, you're so excited. So like if you did it at like 10 o'clock at night, I feel like it'd be hard to go to sleep.
Right. And also to the one proposing, that day you're going to be a nervous wreck.
That's true.
I was.
Yeah. So the less time you have to act like a normal person,
right,
is probably a good thing. That's probably why I feel like I hear a lot of proposals of like first thing when they wake up. That's probably why they like probably are just like, today's the day, I need to like get this done.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So then where is the best place?
I think that's very dependent on who you are as a person. So, you know, you should consider the backdrop if you're going to have a photographer there. So like for pictures and things like that. But a special spot in your relationship. So like maybe where you had your first date or first kiss, or your parents' home, or maybe you guys went on vacation, you know, the first time to the special beach, or I think like some kind of special meaning to it can be really great. I've had people who have done it like in their first house that they bought together, or, you know, different things like that. So I think somewhere that's like significant to the two of you as a couple,
right,
is always a good starting spot.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I completely agree. So like when I proposed, I did it in Central Park. And one of the first things we did when we first moved to New York was go to the boathouse and actually rent a rowboat and kind of go out, and you go under Bow Bridge, you know, when you're doing that. So that's why I chose that. Plus it's iconic.
True.
And then had the photographer there that day.
Yeah.
So
you're thinking about like the backdrop and stuff like that too, which is,
significance and the backdrop. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are two probably the biggest. I mean, like, and if you're doing it on vacation, you know, do it somewhere like iconic, like you're saying. Like I feel like a lot of people do like Paris and the Eiffel Tower because it's just so romantic and iconic, and so, you know, things like that too, where whatever's kind of iconic to you too, as a couple also. It can make a big difference on where you pick.
Yeah, I agree. What should I have when I'm there?
The ring?
Besides the ring.
I mean, you don't have to have anything there, right? It can be just the two of you and the ring, which I guess you really wouldn't even have to have the ring either. So just really the two of you is the one thing that you have to have there. But a lot of people choose to have a photographer. That's very popular now. Somebody to kind of capture the moment and have those like real engagement pictures. That's a lot of excitement. So it's kind of cool to capture that in like your first moments. People choose to have like friends and family there. A lot of people choose to have champagne. It is a celebratory moment. So we're all about that. And then, you could have flowers, pictures, but I don't think any of that stuff is necessary. It just kind of depends. I think it also depends on like where you choose, and like what you're envisioning for this engagement, whether it's private or public and things like that. I had champs. It's now what we drink, the same kind that we drink for anniversaries and stuff. I mean, it can kind of have like a big significance because you're like, oh, well, this is what we drank when we got engaged. So we drank that on our wedding day. We drank it like on our 1 year anniversary. So it's like become special for us. So those are different things you can think about. Yeah, absolutely. So how do you get there? That's probably a question you can answer better than me. But I mean, it definitely goes along with the planning. You need a story of some kind.
Right.
Some way to get them there. We're going to go for a hike and let's take a picture of the two of us. And then secretly get down on one knee. Or, your friends are taking you out to dinner at this one specific restaurant and then you show up. So you kind of have to like involve somebody to help you get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's if you don't want it to be obvious of what's gonna happen. Yeah, especially if you're not doing it like at home.
Yeah, that was a hard part for me, was kind of coming up with a story that was believable. Because I told you we had a work picnic, which I don't even know if they do those anymore. Like,
I know. I can't believe I believed
you
that.
fell for that. Like,
I did.
Oh, we're gonna do a 3-legged race.
I was texting our friend like, oh my gosh,
really.
I hope there's food. I'm so hungry. He wouldn't let me eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Our friend Ellen was like, oh, I'm sure there'll be food, as she's like secretly hiding in the bushes.
Right.
Just go to the work picnic.
Yeah, you'll have fun.
Yeah.
That is the hard part. It's kind of like coming up with that story that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like you said in our last episode, like be careful, how many people know if you want it to be a surprise. It's a lot of people to kind of make sure you don't spill the beans. Yeah,
I know. Like I told your mom like a week before and she's like, you were on a work trip. You're like traveling all over the US and we weren't sure if you were going to get back in time. And I remember her being like, Samie, you have to get your nails painted for this work picnic. It's like, what?
What are you talking about?
Like, what in the world? Like,
I was so oblivious. I still had no idea what was going on.
I
this is a very fancy work picnic.
I know. I've been working there for like 4 months. Like, I wasn't. Yeah, I just gotten started.
VIP work picnic.
Yeah, exactly. So next topic would be who. So should you do it in private or not?
I think that depends. Again, this is very personal to who you guys are as a couple. Do you guys prefer to be, just private, just the two of you? Are you like more like social people where you prefer to be like out and about all the time? So I think that can make a difference. Where you're going to get really embarrassed if people are watching. If you don't do it privately at home, people are going to stop and watch. So, I think you just have to think about that and weigh the pros and cons as far as who you are as a couple.
Yeah. Pros and cons of it being private. I mean, you kind of hit that. So, can it be a whole group?
Sure. Again, it goes back to being spilling the beans and coordinating a whole group of people. So it can be a lot. So I think like one nice thing to do is maybe like have a few people involved in the actual proposal and then have like a, engagement party afterwards. I think that could be really fun. I know that's what my brother did. He did like a kind of private proposal and then they went inside and like all the family and best friends and everyone like that was there for kind of like a little mini engagement party. So like that can be a nice way to include people without trying to like coordinate like 50 people hiding in bushes or something like that. Like that's when I think they're going to eventually see you and catch on. So just something. Yeah.
And be warned, like when you're proposing in a public place like I did, people might be in that spot, or people might, like, there was actually a wedding on the bridge that I was proposing on. And then I like started walking really slow because I could see it far away.
I was like really concerned about you.
Yeah, you're like, why is he walking so slow?
I was like, why are you out of breath?
What is wrong with this guy?
You just made me run here and skip breakfast, and now you want me to slow down?
Yeah, that's so weird.
This is the weirdest work picnic.
Yeah. And then lastly, I guess, who should you include if you are going to do a group proposal?
I think it's nice to include family. If you're going to include family, make sure you include both sides of the family. Yeah. You definitely don't want to like single one side out or make it so that only one side can come. That can start with a lot of hurt feelings early in the engagement season. Close friends, you know. So I think just think about that, you know, siblings, parents, whatever.
Yeah.
Who are the most important people to you two as a couple?
Right. Okay. Well, then lastly, as always, what are the best next steps for our couples?
I would say, you know, decide on the time of the year and the place that you're wanting to propose, and then start planning the details of inviting those people, coordinating a date, and, you know, when it's going to happen, what the story is going to be. That's probably going to be the hardest part to come up with.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great, though. Like, whether it's a surprise or people are onto you or not, it's all about, like, the future of getting married. So just make the most of it and go with it.